All right, good work, folks. I see quite a few of you were able to find aerodynamic forms in space, which is the title of the northernmost art installation. Good work. Hopefully you're feeling more comfortable now using Visual Preview. Next up, let's look at some of the features for viewing data as a table. There's a few parts of table view we didn't fully dive into. Again, a lot of this is pretty straightforward if you're used to working with spreadsheet data, Excel or something like that. But let's have a look and just make sure we understand some of the options here. So let's display the business owner's data. I'll click that cache. Just as a reminder, you can view the quantity of data by having a look at the feature connections and seeing the feature count. So we've got 100 features in business owners, which corresponds to a point and its associated attributes, or it could be rows if it was purely tabular data. And you can confirm that down here in Visual Preview. In the table view, it tells you the number of rows that you have. One thing that's worth noting is if we look at the source data, we don't have an attribute called object ID, whereas if we inspect the written data, we will see an attribute called object ID. We'll get more into schema later, but one thing FME does is it tries to handle some of the requirements of different formats for you. So one of those would be that features written to geodatabase require a sequential integer object ID on every feature class, and FME will just add that for you, but you will notice occasionally things like this where you see an attribute that didn't actually exist in your source data being added, and that's just FME meeting the requirements of the data set. It does some similar things with allowed and unallowed characters in field or attribute names, uppercase, lowercase, that kind of thing in attribute names. It will try to handle some of that for you. One thing that someone noted earlier is that we do have a bit of an issue, which is that last underscore name actually has all null values. And the license number also has some null values. It's typically a bad sign. That means something's going wrong there probably. We can see there's red ports here. We're going to look at how to fix that more tomorrow. It's basically all about schema management, editing and mapping schema. We'll get more into that tomorrow. It's not super hard to rectify, it's just a bit of a topic, so we'll leave that for tomorrow. But just so you're aware, and I guess I hadn't even shown that yet. If you click these buttons here on feature types, you can expand to see the list of attributes, which is helpful to know about. Another thing you can do in Visual Preview table view is you can sort your columns. And in fact, if you keep clicking, you'll add more and more sorting. You can right click to clear all sorting. You can also right click to choose different kinds. By default, I believe it uses natural. So it's going to try to guess if you're sorting by strings or numbers, but you can specify that if you prefer. You can also filter by searching. So if I, maybe if I was looking for, I don't know actually what to search for, industry, maybe all the companies that have industries in the name, you can type that in. That'll by default search all columns. You can also specify the column if you want. It'll also tell you the number that were filtered, which is handy if you want to get a quick sense of the values. So that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, and as a reminder to change, if you have multiple data sets selected, you can change which one's displayed in table view with this dropdown. So that's some basics of working with table view. Please complete the quiz for that. The exercise is really just trying out those different features, and then we will continue on. We've got 2 lessons left, and we should be wrapping up pretty much right on time, I think, today. So go ahead and work on that lesson. We'll continue in about 5 minutes.